you need to be more open kasi as an individual contributor, usually you're on your own, but
Mhm.
when you're starting to become more of a leader, you're more into influencing other people.
Welcome to Kakacomputer. And today we now discuss becoming an IT leader. So, what does it mean to become an IT leader? Now, what makes it different from being a leader with business or other positions as well?
Maybe you can start, Andre?
Sige. Siguro the biggest difference is, unlike siguro other leadership roles, no? Parang kailangan nito na mas more on the technical side, kailangan get at least high level.
Mm.
Unlike kunwari business. I mean, it's equally complex. Pero iba talaga yung complexity pagdating sa tech kasi laging may bago.
Yeah,
Mm.
right.
Unlike, let's say, business, ganito, ganyan. Parang it stays the same. But with tech, you need to always adapt as a leader. Ano ba yung new? You always have to embrace what's new.
So for me, leadership is influence. Just like John Maxwell put it, in different posts that I've read. So you influence, of course, your stakeholders, your people, even your customers, right? So basically, that's it. In terms of tech, leadership in tech, just like Andre was mentioned, it is true. It's actually quite difficult because it's a moving target. Each and every year, there's something new. So you have to really be, you have to understand technology. Not on the nitty-gritty details, but just at least on the um you know how you have to understand the lay of the land, the general idea behind the technology, kahit hindi yung nitty-gritty na, pero basta alam mo yung parang use case of that technology.
Ako, for me, I have a different take on this. Now, I think being an IT leader is very challenging in a sense because it really depends on the company that you're in. This is like an IT leader is like more like a middle manager to some extent. Kahit nasa top ka na,
Mm.
it's because there are times if walang tech skills yung CEO mo, then you have to adapt and you must have some business skills as well.
I see.
Kasi you have to complement the CEO. Now, pag yung finance nyo, wala ding IT skills, minsan kailangan mong may finance skills ka rin konti para hindi naman sobrang mahal, no? So parang at one point parang ano ka, you can be like the second mate of a ship na somehow kabisado mo rin lahat in that sense. You don't have full control pero you have to be very well aware of all moving parts as an IT leader. That's what I feel like as an IT leader. You have to be the most flexible. Yung CEO, yung main job nila is to steer the ship, right? Could be also sales related. Parang very focused sila on that. Of course, as IT leaders, we have to be focused on the tech. But kulang, you have to extend the branch pa further into different departments.
Okay. So moving on, another question will be, what are some core leadership skills that aspiring IT leaders should focus on developing? The core skills.
Siguro number one, communication.
Okay.
Kasi you're already at the top. So, parang makakausap mo yun nga. Parang you're bridging the gap between, yung tech skills mo and how do you explain it. Lalo na sa mga, kung kasama mo non-tech CEOs. Parang, alam mo like how is the best way to apply certain technology. Parang how would you best communicate it to them. Kasi usually, okay, sige, kunwari blockchain. Ang ganda pakinggan. Parang as a CEO, sige, lagyan natin yan. Pero parang as a leader already, parang how can you best influence it in a way na, alam mo yun, you still communicate it and you kumbaga mapapakita mo yung best value out of that technology as a leader.
How can you relay the message
Yes.
to the different people?
For me, adaptability, or like I said, balancing, what I mentioned earlier, it's because communication also is very important. There are times that you become a decision maker, right? Decision maker. And so you have to adapt when to make a decision fast and then ask people to follow versus make the decision, you have the decision, but you have to convince people first. No? Parang, kasi if you make a decision naman and then you don't communicate that, para other people might feel offended or feel out of place, or you're not explaining yourself well, no? Parang you create conflict, right? But at the same time, if you always have to go explain yourself first immediately, you now lose sometimes momentum, right? Kasi especially with tight deadlines. So you have to balance that adaptability, and of course, you have to communicate when do you do either or. I think that's a core skill that you have to do.
Okay. For me, the one of the top skill I would say for leadership is empathy. So you have to communicate, as mentioned by Andre, and of course, striking a balance of that particular influence that you share to your team, your leadership team, and your customers. But for empathy, I think there's a human emotion and factor as well that you have to consider, right? For instance, on your executive team, of course, you have to think or consider that you're actually looking for ways to keep the company afloat. For different people, there are different priorities. For your customers, of course, they have their own agenda as well on why they want to buy your product or use your
Right.
service. For your employees, of course, they want to earn a living, right? And they also have their own goals. So striking a balance of course, leadership, influencing them, and having that empathy to fully understand what the people you're actually talking to. So it's a very key thing to become a very successful leader in the tech industry.
And I think although no, I like this conversation. No, let's also add some tech parts because we're
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
more on the
see.
generic leader. No, is there any specific tech skills that IT leader should be? Should they be like the number one programmer? Should they be the number one QA? Or should they? I personally like to handle. In my previous companies, I personally handle the database. That's because they say data is gold. Data is where the items are. So I want to make sure that I'm hands on that. I protect that to some extent. No, so that's what I keep to myself as an IT leader in the organization. So I will try to be the best at that particular area. No? Is that something also like what you guys think about? Technical skill that an IT leader should have.
I guess on the standpoint of an executive. So I've been of course, I'm wearing the CEO hat for more than 5 years, 6 years now. I would say two skills, sales and digital marketing in the tech industry. It's very, very important. If you have the sales and marketing skills, oh my God, you're unstoppable, to be honest. So even though you're just a one-man team, one-man corporation, no, well, because I think right now in the industry, there are a lot of startups in the Philippines. A lot of startups, a lot of companies out there, but they're actually failing, even though they have very good technology. Why? Because they don't know how to sell. They don't know how to market. So again, I've been a developer as well before moving on an executive position. I graduated from, of course, BS Information Technology course. So I'm a developer, no. So it's hard for me to transition to that marketing and sales stuff. But it's very critical because there's no company if there's no cash inflow. So you need to learn how to sell, how to
John, I think we have to emphasize here that it's digital sales, no?
Exactly.
Specifically. So
Yeah.
are we talking more about SEO optimization? What else are involved in digital sales?
I guess influence. No, you have the social influencer, as you know, and there's also I would say Reddit marketing. It's
Right.
very, very important. I would say because you can do a lot of SEO, search engine optimization, Facebook media, TikTok, no. But in my point of view, Reddit is still one of the best thing. Why? Because people talk there for reviews, right? Oh, is this
So
particular
review
good?
management,
Yeah, review
Google
management,
review
yeah.
management aside from Reddit.
Yeah. So some people, I would say, I'll spill the tea. Some of the guerrilla marketing stuff, people that I've met with, they're actually using Gen AI to just like do some fake reviews on Reddit, no, and everything. What do you? For example, someone will post about what do you think about this particular company, like Kakacomputer podcast, and then they also use another tactic. Yeah, I used their product, but that's actually a bot or that's a fake user or something like that. Again, I'm not saying you're doing that, but that's why in my company, Tutorials Dojo, we're very active in Reddit. So if someone asks for assistance, we're always there. If you go to our AWS r/AWS certifications on Reddit, we're always there. Even though our site is down, my site is down. We're there to support them. No, so there are two types of people in marketing, but I would say Reddit marketing, it's
So-
one of the winner.
So that's one of the IT skills, specifically digital sales, no? Kasi sales
Yeah.
offline is different from digital sales.
Exactly,
as well.
yeah.
Alright. And I think, at this point, we would like to thank our sponsor,
Yeah.
PWA.
Okay, so PWA Pilipinas is a community for makers and users of progressive web apps here in the Philippines. Make sure to follow us on our socials. Just search for PWA Pilipinas.
Nice.
So for those that are not yet in the IT leadership position, no, what can they do, or how do they start in that sense? How can they build up the skills, especially if you're an individual contributor at that point?
Probably for me, try to be more open since leadership is more of communicating with people, dealing with people,
Mhm.
babysitting people. So you need to be more open kasi as an individual contributor, usually you're on your own, but
Mhm.
when you're starting to become more of a leader, you're more into influencing other people. So it's really opening yourself to people. That's usually the hardest step.
Right. No, and I think that's one of the challenges that new IT leaders commonly
Yeah.
face. Right? How do they overcome that? No, trying to be more open. Balik na naman tayo sa conversation. Is that extrovert skill needed or not really? That's something else.
I think it's just about, as a leader, getting the job done at the end of the day. Parang, it's not anymore about nahiya ba ako or hindi, introvert ba ako or hindi.
Mm.
You always have this goal as a leader in mind to get the things done. Basta yun lang, deliver what you have to deliver as a leader.
As a leader. How about you, John? Do you have any thoughts on challenges new leaders come up? Especially if you're building middle managers, right? So
Mm.
that means they're new to that position. So there must be challenges that they face.
Yeah, I think there are a lot, I would say. No, some, of course, managing the people, managing the project, managing the finances. So there are a lot of challenges. But I would say you also have to go back to that empathy side of things. So you have to understand your customer. You also have to understand your shareholder. Be open. You have to communicate well. Yeah, and I think I would say trying to be honest at all times, because I think most of the time, no, you can see a lot of CEOs and leaders in the US, like Steve Jobs and Bill Gates. They're actually very honest. If something is wrong, they'll tell you it's wrong. Here in the Philippines, if there's something is wrong, they'll actually beat around the bush. So sometimes being truthful really helps the company, and you have to learn to be honest. And if it's not good, no,
Right.
you have to say to your customers and to be honest to your stakeholders.
Being authentic.
Being authentic.
Mm.
I think because we have in the Philippines specifically, we have that notion where we try to avoid conflict.
Mm-hmm.
Parang nasasakitan yung loob natin, no?
Mm.
And sometimes the truth hurts,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
Mm.
So as an IT leader, how do we handle this kind of conflict between truth, perhaps, and the actual performance, and also conflict between, members of our team?
So for me, kasi mag-migrate ako sa Australia, as you know, so my mindset is actually quite different. Of course, in the Western world, they actually it's expected for you to talk, to be honest, to open up. No, if you're not talking, so it means that you're okay and everything. No, and of course we're Orientals, we're in the Philippines. No, so my staff is based in the Philippines, so I tend to tell them. So okay, we actually have a flat structure. I give them that the talk. Okay, whatever happens here, I'm here to tell you that that's okay, and we'll resolve it together. So I'm more of like proactive leadership. And I'm setting the expectations as early as possible. And of course, if there's something wrong, I'll tell you. I hope you don't mind. So I think that's again the empathy side of the understanding that you have a people here in the Philippines. Of course, they're Orientals. You have a different mindset, which is actually different if I'm talking to my clients or my staff abroad.
Yeah, plus one on that, no?
Mm.
Parang, usually parang pag Pinoy,
Mm.
pag may mga ganyung conflict, quiet na lang tapos at mamaya, a few months may resignation letter na.
Tama.
Pero parang, yun nga, no, I came din sa parang Australia na company na you really need to be authentic.
Exactly.
You need to, as a leader, you need to embrace flaws.
Mm.
And you have to communicate that it's okay to make mistakes because you're a person
That's right.
at the end of the day. So once you communicate that to your people, they'll be more open. So yung mga conflicts like that are usually nare-resolve sila kasi they share it with you kasi mas open sila.
Right. Then again, as IT leaders, one of the things we have to do is become an example. Right? We are not perfect. We also make mistakes. So kung nagkamali tayo, we also have to own up to it, be honest with our mistakes so that we also have our own repercussion of that mistake. Of course, no? Hindi naman lahat ng mistake walang kapalit, push and pull. But it shows that it can be done. Na in a sense na pwede magkamali, right? And so as long as there's enough guardrails that we establish as IT leaders, the rest of the team can also make mistakes as well. No?
So add ko rin din, no? Just if you're a leader here in the Philippines, in a tech leader, you have to be proactive and tell them exactly. Actually sa akin, sa Slack namin, may automated na yon every Wednesday. Team, please share your blockers to us. Kasi sometimes they have blockers but they're very shy, they're very silent. Parang then bibigla na lang sa production, malapit na yung deadline. Anong ginawa mo? Block po ako, nahiya po ako, mga ganun. No? So, you have to be proactive. And again, as mentioned by Rafi, add those guardrails as early as possible.
And so I think for my advice for first-time leaders, no, maybe my advice is for the leaders, right? One of the challenges that we will have to face is also making new leaders, and we have to give enough opportunity, no, for others to try it out. You know, from others to become an IC to a manager, because some will try, some doesn't mean it's 100% successful, but you can be the example and you allow them to try it out, right? So allow them to become IT leaders if they want to or they want to try it, but don't force them to become IT leaders either.